Hello everyone. This week is a direct continuation of last week. Jesus is talking about his death to the people. We're starting in John chapter 12, verse 34. The crowd spoke up. "We have heard from the law that the Christ will remain forever. So how can you say the Son of Man must be lifted up? Who is this Son of Man?" Then Jesus told them, "You are going to have the light just a little while longer." Their main problem is the misconception that the Messiah's kingdom was only earthly, because the prophecies they speak of talk about the Messiah's everlasting kingdom. One of them is from Isaiah 9:7, which reads, "Of the increase of his government and peace there will be no end. He will reign on David's throne and over his kingdom, establishing and upholding it with justice and righteousness from that time on and forever." And if it's an earthly kingdom, then the Messiah won't be able to rule forever if he dies. But at this point, Jesus has made it very clear that his kingdom wasn't limited to earthly ways, but people weren't listening. But he gives them advice that is also advice for us as well. "Walk while you have the light before darkness overtakes you. The man who walks in the dark does not know where he is going. Put your trust in the light while you have it, so that you may become sons of light." The light is the ways of God. God gives us this light. Jesus gives us this light, and the light is our strength, and it's our courage. We need to hold on to the light, or else we will be fearful. And as we all know,
fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, hate leads to suffering.
The darkness will overtake you if you stray away from the light. And I feel like a flashlight is a great metaphor for this, because a flashlight that isn't turned on is useless in a pitch black room. The flashlight can no longer fulfill its purpose, and you're stuck. So now what? So hold on to Jesus' light. It will never fail you. When he had finished speaking, Jesus left and hid himself from them. Even after Jesus had done all these miraculous signs in their presence, they still would not believe in him. This was to fulfill the word of Isaiah the prophet, "Lord, who has believed our message, and to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed?" For this reason they could not believe, because as Isaiah says elsewhere, "He has blinded their eyes and deadened their hearts, so they can neither see with their eyes, nor understand with their hearts, nor turn, and I would heal them." Isaiah said this because he saw Jesus' glory and spoke about him. John references Isaiah 53:1 and Isaiah 6:9-10. With verses like these, I always like to tell the butter and clay metaphor. If you put butter and clay right next to each other in the sun, different things will happen. The sun isn't different for either of them. It's casting its rays on them in the same way, but one gets softer and the other gets harder. God has hardened some people's hearts because they have conditioned it to happen that way. God has revealed himself in many ways even today, but back then God was actually walking among them. There's nothing more revealing than God standing in front of you, but they did not want to believe. Yet at the same time, many even among the leaders believed in him, but because of the Pharisees they would not confess their faith for fear they would be put out of the synagogue, for they loved praise from men more than praise from God. So there's good news and bad news. Jesus wasn't hated by everyone, many believed, but they loved praise from men more than praise from God. Jesus didn't seem like a threat to them, but the Pharisees did. Isn't that true today? Your boss seems like a threat, your governor seems like a threat, but God doesn't seem like a threat. Let's not forget that God is the real one with power, not others. Because I'm sure there were people like Joseph of Arimathea and Nicodemus whose problem wasn't praise, but fear. Then Jesus cried out, "When a man believes in me, he does not believe in me only, but in the one who sent me. When he looks at me, he sees the one who sent me. I have come into the world as a light, so that no one who believes in me should stay in darkness. As for the person who hears my words but does not keep them, I do not judge him, for I did not come to judge the world but to save it. There is a judge for the one who rejects me and does not accept my words. That very word which I spoke will condemn him at the last day, for I did not speak of my own accord, but the Father who sent me commanded me what to say and how to say it. I know that his commands lead to eternal life, so whatever I say is just what the Father has told me to say." Something to note is that John puts this as Jesus' last speech to the multitudes before his crucifixion. So this is somewhat of a summary of Jesus' ministry. First, Jesus makes it clear that he is God. You can't believe in Jesus but not God, and you can't believe in God and not Jesus. This should have given them conviction. The thought of God himself standing in front of you is quite something, but what he speaks of is interesting because judgment and condemnation was already a thing. He didn't come for those, he came to save. Judgment happens with or without Jesus, but God's plan all along was to not let that be the end. So he sent Jesus to save us from judgment. That really is the good news. And he concludes again that he and the Father are one. So remember these words because they are very important. Thank you.